We hear the hype about artificial intelligence all the time. But what's it actually doing for us right now? Well, in this explainer, we're going to cut through all that noise. We're going to see how AI is delivering real, solid value on the factory floor today in what's being called Industry 5.0. Let's dive in. So, to get a sense of just how big this is, let's start with this number, $15 trillion. That's what PwC estimates AI could contribute to the global economy by 2030. I mean, to put that in perspective, that is more than the entire current GDP of China. So we're not talking about a small change here. This is a massive, monumental economic shift. Okay, but a number like $15 trillion is so huge, it's almost meaningless, right? What does it actually mean for the people, for the machines working day in and day out? How does all that potential turn into something that makes a real business faster, smarter, and more efficient? That is the real question, and that's what we're here to unpack. To get that answer, we've got to understand the context first. See, AI isn't just being plugged into old factories. It's really at the heart of this new chapter we call Industry 5.0. So, what is Industry 5.0? Well, if the last phase, Industry 4.0, was all about automation, Industry 5.0 is all about collaboration. It's a really important shift in thinking. The point isn't to replace people with machines anymore. It's about using technology to boost our own human skills, creating these powerful teams where people and smart tech work side by side. And believe me, this isn't just some theory for the distant future. A recent McKinsey report found that a whopping 92% of companies are planning to increase their AI investments. That tells you that businesses are way past the let's try it out phase. They're actively building AI into how they operate because they see it as absolutely critical to stay competitive. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What's the first major application of AI on the factory floor? Well, one of the biggest and most immediate impacts is in completely changing how we handle machine maintenance. Yeah, anyone who's ever worked in manufacturing knows this feeling deep in their bones. A critical machine breaks down out of the blue, and bam, the entire production line just stops. It costs a fortune in lost time and money. It's a huge headache. This is where AI just completely changes the game. It lets us switch from being reactive, scrambling to fix things after they're already broken, to being proactive. I mean, just imagine, what if the machine itself could just tell you, hey, I'm going to need some attention soon? And that's exactly what predictive maintenance does. The AI sifts through all this data that factories are probably already collecting from sensors on their equipment. Things like temperature, vibration, pressure. It spots these tiny, subtle patterns that a person would never catch, and basically predicts a failure before it ever happens. And you can see from this market growth chart, companies are pouring money into this because it's a total game changer. And the result? The payoff is huge. By taking this proactive approach, AI-powered predictive maintenance can slash that awful, unplanned downtime by up to 50%. And that's not just a statistic. That means more products getting made, way lower costs for emergency repairs, and a business you can actually rely on. It's a massive advantage. Now, for some jobs on the factory floor, you can't afford to wait. Sending a signal to some far-off server and waiting for a response is just too slow. And that brings us to our next big idea, putting the intelligence right where the action is happening. Let's break this down. You've got cloud AI versus edge AI. Think of the cloud like calling a central office for every single decision. There's always going to be a bit of a delay, right? Edge AI, on the other hand, is like having your top expert standing right there on the factory floor making decisions instantly. For those split-second calls, you absolutely need that expert on site. And the process itself is beautifully simple and fast. A camera or a sensor grabs some data. The AI model, which is running right on that device, processes it immediately, and a decision is made in real time. It's perfect for things like spotting a microscopic defect on a part as it's flying down the assembly line, something you could just never do with the lag of cloud processing. I mean, the speed difference is just staggering. By processing data locally, right on the edge, especially when you combine it with 5G, you can cut response times from hundreds of milliseconds down to as little as 1 millisecond. That's basically instant. So, this real-time brain power isn't just for spotting tiny flaws or predicting breakdowns. It's also totally changing how people and robots work together. And it's creating a whole new defense system to protect the factory itself. So AI is turning what we call cobots or collaborative robots into actual teammates. They're not just dumb arms following a rigid pre-programmed path anymore. Through machine learning, they can actually learn from experience, build a 3D picture of the world around them, and, this is the most important part, they can safely and instantly adapt what they're doing when a person gets close. That makes them way more flexible, way more efficient, and a much safer partner to have on the line. But of course, all of this amazing connectivity comes with a risk. The smarter our factories get, the more vulnerable they become. And that leads us to the super critical topic of cybersecurity. And this is where AI is really stepping up as our best guardian. This data from TakePoint Research tells you everything you need to know. Just look at the detection rate. AI systems catch over 92% of threats, while traditional systems miss a whole lot more, down below 79%. Then look at false positives. The AI generates almost half as many false alarms. That's a huge time saver for security teams. And then the response time. AI is nearly 3 times faster. In cybersecurity, that speed can be the difference between a small glitch and a complete disaster. Okay, so we've seen how AI is solving real problems right now, but what's the big picture? Where's all this headed, and what does it mean for the future of how we work? This chart really shows that AI isn't just for a handful of tech giants anymore. A recent survey found that 43% of large companies have already kicked off AI projects. And when you add the 57% who are planning to start, well, you can see that pretty much every major company sees AI as essential to their future. The ball is already rolling, big time. And the leaders of these companies, they get how big this is. Almost 2/3 of them believe that AI isn't just going to make things a little better. It's going to fundamentally rewrite their entire business model. And production is right at the top of that list. And that really brings us to the most important point of all. The end goal of Industry 5.0 isn't a factory with no people in it. It's about creating an augmented team where human creativity and intuition are supercharged by the incredible speed and power of AI. The tech is here. It's getting smarter every single day. So the real question we have to ask ourselves is, are we ready to collaborate?